We'll be like the Fugazi of podcasting.
It'll say preparing live streaming, and then it'll have us live right now as I'm waiting. I don't know when this thing actually starts to go live.
That'll be part of the charm of the show.
Guess so.
I feel a little burn here.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Dukes of Plather. I'm Sam, that's Wick. We get together every week to talk about things that are bugging us as basically Generation Xers. We talk about anything from politics to pop culture. Just try to figure out and cope with the world as it's going on around us. It's a lot of fun. Glad everybody's here to join us. If you can, we have just recently got on Podbean. So please visit us on Podbean. We're also on Google. We're also on Spotify, iTunes, and everywhere podcasts are downloaded. Please go check us out. We'd really appreciate it. Please don't forget, the show is brought to you by Invictus Clinic in Woodstock, Georgia. They offer hope to patients with major depressive disorders, postpartum depression, bipolar depression, OCD, PTSD, and severe anxiety. Severe depression takes a huge toll on your everyday life, and ketamine therapy offers a chance to find hope again. Many patients have tried numerous oral medications, but they have found little to no relief, as well as difficult to tolerate side effects. Ketamine treatment is highly effective and safe. It's time for you to get off harmful medications, start living again. If you're in pain, get help from the Invictus Clinic in Woodstock, Georgia. For more information and find out if the treatment's right for you, give them a call, 770-850-1042. Wick, my man, how are you feeling today, sir?
I'm damn decent, sir. How are you?
Damn decent. I want to welcome everybody. Like I said, we're just two Generation Xers trying to make our way in the world. It's a very confusing time for everybody other than millennials because they seem to understand everything and the rest of us don't. So we kind of get in here and discuss all the crap that's going on. And tonight I'm going to have a little bit of fun with Wick because there's a news story that came out. But before we get to that, I want to tell you, Wick, the greatest things happened to me.
Oh,
besides the birth of my children, meeting you, and meeting my wife, of course, not in that order. You want to know what it is?
No.
I can tell you're in suspense right now. You're just.
I'm trying to shut down my computer.
Oh, you got porn pop-ups.
Yeah, it's embarrassing because
oh god,
I'm into weird stuff. There's apparently barbecue porn now that I'm into.
Oh yeah.
You're
taking out people's grills.
Yeah,
dry dirty rub. Grills. Dirty grills people don't clean.
Dirty grills, dry rubs.
Yeah. Oh man, chicken from 5 years ago. You just lose it. Your eyes roll back in the back of your head. All right.
I'm waiting with bated breath.
Yeah, you lose some knee cartilage looking at some of the old grills. No, I got the TV Guide, man, for the first time in many, many years. The TV Guide still exists, and it has saved my life because we were talking a little bit about streaming last week, and I decided I'm going to order the TV Guide because I have this anxiety, like we were talking about in episode 1, where whenever I watch streaming and I go on Roku and I'm like, all right, what I'm going to watch, I kind of have this moment where I'm not sure what I'm going to watch. Like I just kind of go in a mini panic mode, where it's like, okay, if I don't want to watch this, I don't know what I'm going to watch. I don't know what I want to start. I'm going on Reddit saying, what's great shows to watch? What are you binging on? Roku right now, or Hulu, or, Netflix. And it's just like this overwhelming, like, unsurety of what I'm going to do and what I'm going to watch, which I take very seriously. And so the other day, I'm thinking about the TV Guide when we were younger, and we do a lot of reminiscing on this show. And I was like, I kind of want to get into, looking at the old TV Guide covers, Magnum PI, The Muppets, Moonlighting, A-Team, all that stuff. So I'm looking at them, all that. I'm like, man, it'd be great if they still had the TV Guide. I'll be damned. They do have the TV Guide, $20 for a year. And I thought, you know what? this is going to be well worth it. I'm going to get this TV Guide. I'm going to see what's in it. I'm going to go ahead and do a year subscription. So I get the year subscription, and it finally comes this week.
Comes all in one, like for the entire year.
It's 2 weeks in advance. It's 2 weeks. So 2 weeks at a time. Wick, I cannot express to people to how amazing this thing is, because I'm going through day by day, and it has a list of all the movies that are going to be on that night. You know, a little sidebar. Here's all the movies that are going to be on tonight. Here is all the new shows that are premiering tonight. Here's all the, reruns that are.
And that's streaming?
No. This is broadcast TV. But I mean, if you're streaming, okay. And I've decided, the one thing I want to throw in here, I've decided I'm going to cut the cord. I'm going to try to exclusively use Roku for my entertainment. But, with that comes, you still have regular TV. I have Peacock channel, which is NBC. I've got the CBS channel, which is all the stuff on CBS. I've got NBC, CBS, and all that stuff. So I'm still capable of watching real live TV. So, and Hulu I also have. So like Hulu's awesome. I don't know if do you have Hulu, Wick?
Yeah.
Okay. Hulu's amazing because it's almost like a DVR. They almost have every show. I would say between Peacock and Hulu, you've almost got everything covered as far as television. And so, because Peacock brought a ton of rights for like a ton of shows. I'm trying to think of something I've watched on, like, I don't know, like King of Queens, which was on CBS, is now on the Peacock channel, which is a hilarious show. But anyway, so even though I've got a TV Guide, I still have live TV through streaming. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to cut the cord. I'm going to use the TV Guide to find out what's on. I'm going to get my life in order, entertainment wise, right? Because everybody's streaming, everybody's doing this now. So I got to get my shit together. So I'm cutting the cable this week. We're gonna talk about how that goes in a couple of weeks, whether or not we're starving, entertainment starving. And
it's gonna go Lord of the Flies real quick.
Right. Before you know it, nobody has any clothes on, and we've already like burned the couch in the fireplace. So I get this TV Guide, man, and like I said, week to week, everything going. They still have the grid, but what I love about it, and they're not paying us anything. This is not an ad. I'm being completely honest with you guys. It's great because there's a 2-page spread for each day of the week for the next 2 weeks that tells me, these are the premieres, this everything's coming out. There's like a Bee Gees biopic that's coming on. I think HBO's doing about the Bee Gees, which I actually love. And I'm like, this is great. Like I'm telling my wife, this is unbelievable because now I can organize everything that comes.
I watched that. The Bee Gees. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the Bee Gees. I really do. Like, I don't care what anybody says. I love them. I used to hide that. Now I'm not. I'm coming out of the Bee Gee closet.
Bee Gees and ABBA.
Yeah, of course. Bee Gees are brilliant, man. And so I encourage anyone who is a big TV watcher who, like me, has no real life, that this is going to be your Bible. Okay? This is the TV Bible. They still make it. Like I said, it's really cheap, $20 for the year. That might have been 2 years. I don't remember, but it's not as small as it used to. That kind of bummed me out. I really want it like a Reader's Digest size TV Guide, but it's bigger. It's bigger. It's like between a magazine and a small, like what it used to be, and a full like magazine size. It's kind of in between. So average. It's your average magazine length.
I preferred it when it was smaller.
Yeah, but
it's more handy because you're not, because your focus is on the TV and you're.
Yeah. Well, you pre-plan. You look at this thing and you pre-plan. I pre-plan for the entire week using the TV Guide. It's great because every day of my life since the TV Guide's gone out of my life, and we only got it because my mom liked to play the crosswords. I was aimlessly bumping into the walls and pillars of TV. I didn't have any focus. I didn't have any game plan. I had no future. I just hit a button and looked at the guide and was like, what's on? And then I would get tired. Like, here's 8:00 and I'm going to hit the down button. Everybody's been there. You know what I'm talking about. You're going through the down button. Do. And then you're like, I'm so tired of doing this. But not only are you not done at that point, but then you've got to hit the right button to go to 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock and go all the way back down again. It just sucks the energy out. You're like, I don't care what I'm watching anymore. And you'll find something, you'll click it, and you're stuck watching it. And then your spouse is like, what are we watching? You're like, I don't care. It's Animal Planet. So the TV guy is changing my life. I'm gonna cut the cord on the cable. This is gonna be a scary thing. Because you've cut the cord, haven't you, Wick?
Oh yeah, a long time ago.
What is your biggest struggle with cutting the cord to cable?
None. I have none.
None.
No.
You find that you pretty much where do you get your live sports from?
We siphon off somebody else's.
Jesus, dude, that doesn't help me.
Yeah, but we never watch. That's the only time I watch cable ever.
Well, I think you can get it through I think you get a sports package through like Hulu and stuff. But anyway,
yeah,
how this goes. I'm kind of excited, but I'm nervous. And I'm really nervous because I got to call the cable company and tell them. That's going to be the worst part of this whole situation. Because they're going to act like I'm the worst piece of they're going to act like I'm the worst piece of crap on the planet when I call them. And then they'll offer me all these deals, and I'll be like, "Damn, where were these deals like a year ago?" Like my cable bill is $250, dude.
Jesus Christ!
That's with internet. Which is like $60.
Okay, what do you like? Uverse?
No, it's Spectrum.
Okay,
and they have a monopoly where I live. So I don't know if anybody else is dealing with that, but you can only buy cable through that company because they block everybody else out. And it's like, this is ridiculous, dude. And I just told her, I was like, for everything that we can add on a couple of apps for streaming, I think it's like $110. I mean, that's including the internet. That's everything. That's including the Wi-Fi that we're going to use to engine this wonderful thing called Roku. And, we'll pay like $5 for like CBS and I think I pay $5 for Peacock. Hulu's like 12. Anyway, when you add it all up, you're like $120 with the internet. I'm like, hell yeah. And I've got control over what I'm doing. Plus I still have live TV. And if I wanted to add live TV to it, let's say, and pay the $45 or whatever to Hulu, I'm still like under $160. It's a win-win. I hope. We'll find out. I may be miserable. Like I said, we may be burning coffee tables in the den before next week, but hopefully it'll work.
It's almost my experience is it's almost seamless.
Yeah, let's see. Because I don't watch the TV a lot. The only time I watch regular TV is probably for live events, like maybe like football. That's about it. But I can still get that, through other channels on Roku. Anyway, so I'm excited about doing that. Get the TV guide. It's awesome. And like I said, we're trying to cope and understand what the hell's going on around us. And I'm sure people are listening to this going, man, this guy's in the TV guide. I'm out. But, I feel like our generation, man, we're like 10 years away from being obsolete, man. I mean, technology's changing in front of us. I mean, like pretty soon we're not going to know how to do a lot of this electronic stuff. Like I almost feel like we Generation Xers are completely moving at a rate of the speed of sound to be obsolete in America because our parents
were so small.
Well, baby boomers got the opportunity to not have to really deal with real big changes in technology until they were in their like 70s.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, here we are. We're about to have like cars that drive themselves. I mean, that's going to be really weird for us.
I once spent an hour of my life trying to explain the difference to my parents between what a DVD and a CD was.
Right.
Were an entire hour. It was just like a maddening loop of them asking the same questions, me answering the questions, them not understanding the answers, and eventually it ended in a murder-suicide.
Oh, nice. And you survived.
Yeah.
All right.
We all survived, but
right.
Yeah, it was. I made a vow then and there to never, ever become that person. But I don't know if you have a choice in that.
You don't. You
don't really.
My father called me one time saying that he had erased the email, and I said, "Oh, we just go in the delete box,
Yeah,
and
just go in the trash.
pull it out. No, I've erased all the email. And I said, what do you mean? Like all your emails? He was like, no, the email. I said, the server? Yeah, it no longer exists. And I was like, you can't.
You can't even do
You
that.
can't. It just erase all of your email. It doesn't disappear on the face of the planet. And we found out that he just minimized it. He just minimized it. It disappeared. But I was like, Dad, it's down here in the corner. Just click on that. Oh, it pops back up. Oh God, thank God.
I just go. I thought.
Thank God you recovered our email. And I was like, yeah, it's
Did he think he
it was
deleted
never gone.
Did he think he deleted the internet from Earth? And just
Yes, he thought he deleted all emails from anyone. Like he had found the key, the secret key. No, and I'm just like, man, that's when I knew things were going downhill. But Wick, I don't think my kids are 8 and 5, fixing to be 6 and 8. They're not going to explain to me the changes in technology. They're not going to come along and go, hey, Dad, this is how, like I did for my father. Like they'll do it in another 4 or 5 years when they are actually technology advanced.
I don't know if they're going to be that advanced because everything is so user friendly now.
Maybe not.
I mean, we were kind of forced to be advanced because we came up in the time when it wasn't so user friendly.
Well, and we were at the beginning of all this. We
saw
Atari, we saw Nintendo, we saw AOL, we saw high-speed internet start coming around. We were there when MySpace started, which turned into Facebook, and Twitter wasn't even existent. Like we kind of, and we were in our 30s and 20s when all this stuff was going on, so we're still very hip to what was happening. But I'm kind of worried, Wick, that our generation our generation may be flying a lot quicker to obsolescence than any other generation before us. Because obsolescence, yeah, that's a new word. I'm taking it because the millennials know how to do all this stuff that's coming. We have no clue. I mean, I don't know who's going to coach us through it. You know what I mean? I mean, some people have older kids, sure, but
there'll be tutorials.
Yeah, I guess
on YouTube.
Man. I guess.
Maybe that's what we should start doing right now is filming tutorials for Generation Xers as we move forward into this black forest of technology.
But shouldn't we already know? Like, aren't we inventing this shit? Like we should.
Yeah,
but we don't. You know what I mean? Like I can't. Like Facebook changed their layout. Did you do your update on your Facebook?
No, it's automatic.
Okay, well, they did the layout, and I'm like, I don't even know how to find our show page anymore. Like, I felt like my dad.
Hold on, I have to. Mine's the same.
Oh, mine updated. Now it's got like a night vision and white vision. I don't know that that's necessary, but whatever. I can turn it black or white.
Oh yeah.
All that stuff. But now like everything's moved. I'm like, I don't know where. And then like you go and you're like, you don't know how to do something. God, I sound like my dad. You don't know how to do something, and you go on Google to find out how to do it, and it's like, especially on Facebook, it'll be an instruction from 2017, which won't work now. You know what I mean? No. I'll be like, all right, so I'm going to settings, then I'm going to user setting. Wait, where's user settings? There's no user settings anymore. Like, it's like, God, I just feel like, I'm like, dude, I was like, this show is about two guys trying to figure out what the hell's going on around them because everything's moving so quickly. I mean, we're seeing a change in political stances. We're seeing political ideals change. We're watching parties shift. We're watching, reality stars become billionaires. We're seeing people that, have no business giving us lectures on things, lecturing us. And then technology. I mean, it's just, we might be obsolete in 10 to 15 years, man. Like they may have to remove the retirement age to like 55.
Never.
Yeah, they won't because there's no money there. But
no, it's going to go up if anything.
It's tough, man, because I think sometimes I think I'm not made for this world anymore. Do you ever feel like that?
I think I've always felt like that a bit.
Do you think it's because of people or things?
People. And things.
Yeah. People
trying to get things.
Listen, I'm going to say it's probably going to lose me a lot of friends. I've talked to you about it before. Facebook's become, especially now that we're getting close to Christmas, Facebook's becoming where my friends are selling me all kinds of crap I don't need. I mean, I see makeup sales,
Oh God, it's exhausting.
getting people in shape,
Uh,
business ownerships, and honestly, pyramid schemes. I hate to say it. That's what these are. And I have to ask myself, like, where's our friendship now? Like, how are we friends when
just
basically,
ask, yeah, if it's just a transactional relationship now.
yeah, and now all of a suddenly we went to high school together, so now I'm your customer or your
Yeah,
potential sale. That really bothers me
but I
already.
guess it's always been that way, you know,
I mean,
to a
I knew somebody
degree.
who
It's just
sold like
the platforms are different.
I knew somebody who sold Amway in the 80s. I certainly didn't feel like they were coming to my door every weekend, and I feel like with Facebook, everybody's using it for a platform to sell their crap. These things are nothing more than pyramid schemes. Like it's like the stuff where you went, and I know I'm going to lose friends. Sorry, but it's the truth. And if we're strong enough friends, you'll just ignore this and move on, or you'll stop selling me shit. But it's like like when you have to tell me how legit your business is, quote unquote, your business. When you tell me when you have to go out and tell me how legit it is on your videos, it's not legit.
If you have to explain how legitimate something is in general,
It's not legit.
you're selling a bill of goods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is our relationship? Our relationship is you want me to see your sales stuff all the time?
Yeah, I've had an issue with the sales culture nature of our culture
Yeah.
to be just in general the way that everybody assumes this salesman posture.
Sales sucks. I'm in sales. You don't want to be in sales.
Sales sucks.
Go do something better. Go make something. Go make something and sell it to me.
Create something, yeah.
Create something. I'm telling you, I'm in business. It's not that fun. And when
No.
and I find it a tad bit offensive when I'm writing payroll, I'm doing taxes, I'm applying for loans for this thing for COVID. We're doing all this crap, and somebody wants to go on Facebook who basically, has the sales making of a Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts cookie menu, where you're basically just filling out an order form and sending it in for them to be delivered to me, right? And you're going to get paid off of it, and you're going to make me somebody who's going to do that to somebody else. And you're calling yourself a business bothers me, because I have to really be in one where you have a balanced budget and you have money going out for employees and all that stuff. And you call that a business. It's the same as calling a Girl Scouts a business.
Right.
Like when you go around calling everybody if they want their Samoans or Samoas, that's not business. That's just asking friends to be obligated to do something for you because you know each other. And then you write it down on your little list, order 5 boxes of, the peanut butter delights or whatever, and I'm going to send them in. They're going to be delivered to your door. There's no difference in what you're doing that. You know what I mean? And it's not a legit business. And when you go on Facebook and you tell me it's a legit business, I take offense to it, because it's not. And you're annoying the hell out of everybody. Now, I have friends that
pitch.
It's a pitch. Yeah. And then I have friends that did it and gave it up, and God bless them. Thank you so much. You know who you are. Thank you. But there are people who don't give it up, and they do it every year at Christmas. I mean, there are people that are sitting there telling me in a video that they're paying their mortgage, they're paying their car notes, they're paying their kids' private tuitions with money that they make from a fucking pyramid scheme where they sell products that come in a packet that are supposed to make all your.
And it's their second job.
It's their second job. Yeah. And you know what they do?
Yeah.
They do real jobs. But this is what pays for all that. You're so full of it. So if I can give you some advice, Facebookers, stop selling people your crap. Once you do it, nobody's buying it, give it up at that point and go somewhere else and start doing it. Go walk around your neighborhood and sell it.
Yeah.
Set up a stand in front of Home Depot. Do you want to feel better? Do your joints hurt? Do you want to lose some weight? Or here's some cosmetic. People, listen, before all this happened, there was Mary Kay. And God bless those Mary Kay people that actually went out and busted their ass to sell some cosmetics. Now you guys just put up a fucking video and say, hey, buy some cosmetics. and it annoys me. It just really annoys me.
Tupperware too. Tupperware in the day. Tupperware parties.
Tupperware,
You remember those?
But people said, "Hey, look, I'm having a Tupperware party, and if you want to buy Tupperware, which was a big deal, we had
Is there
it. It was
anything
awesome
more
stuff.
lame, a more lame phrase than Tupperware party?
I don't know, but people made money back then on that stuff.
Yeah.
But they went out and they made the effort to gather up people and to have it come together. This crap is just getting on a video on Facebook and trying to sell me on your pyramid scheme. I'm not interested. And I want to be your friend. Like, don't get me wrong. I want to be your friend and I'm interested in your family. I want to know that your kids are going to college. Everybody's healthy. I want to know what you're barbecuing. Wick wants to see your grill. He's into barbecue porn.
Yeah.
I mean, let's do that.
It's a thing.
Let me get to know you. I don't want to be your customer. Does that make sense? And so I just think that I'm just not even made for this world anymore. I think it's just really tough in this world to live. If things like this frustrate you.
Yeah, and especially in a culture that's so sales based. Plus, what does it say economically? We probably have more supply than demand. Clearly, if there's this much sales force in the world.
Yeah.
And how can you sustain economically?
You know what? They don't.
And for how long?
There are I have a few friends that will continue to do this garbage every year over and over again and convince themselves it is legitimately what's making their lives go around. I don't know how, because I know that they have legitimate good paying jobs, but my God, I think it's the allure of believing that you're a business person. That's what I think it is. And until you have to go and get, an equity loan on a building you own or pay rent, it's really hard for me to give you the legitimate business thumbs up. That's all. Or you know what? Here's another great idea. Do what other businesses do on Facebook. Create a Facebook business page and ask people to go there if they're interested. I don't need this on our personal relationship. We have bonded a friendship through knowing you or not knowing you. Maybe we met through some weird, Facebook page. But I don't need you to sell that to me on your personal page to my personal page. Just create a business page for yourself and say, look, I'm selling this. It's been really great for me. Here's some of the advantages. Go to this page and see it. But no, I get a 10-minute video on my wall about you selling me crap I don't want. What's our relationship? And I just think it's hard for me to have. I think it's hard for me to live in this world like that. I don't even like giving my name at the Starbucks drive-through. You know what I mean? Like, I struggle.
It's like, oh, hello, my name is Keith. What's your name?
I don't want to tell you. I don't.
How are you doing?
Chick-fil-A does that. We don't need. I don't.
Are you
on that level? I don't want to be on that level. I just want to order.
Can I just buy my stuff?
Yeah, I just want to order a skinny mocha latte, iced with 2 Splenda, sugar-free, vanilla. That's all. You don't need to know me.
Is that your drink?
That is my drink. Try it.
Say that again. Say that again. Skinny.
It's a skinny iced mocha latte.
That says non-fat iced mocha.
That's right.
Okay, the mocha is offsetting
2 Splendas. Yeah, because when you say skinny, they're just going to give you sugar-free vanilla pumps.
Mm-hmm.
4 pumps, sugar-free vanilla,
and fat-free milk.
Fat-free milk, almond milk.
And do you get this every day?
No, oh God, no! It's a treat. Twice a week.
Yeah.
Because those things are like $3 or $4, man.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty wild. But that all that is to go to tell you that I think that we're very close to aliens taking over this planet because of how crazy everything's getting. It feels like everything's being primed for that moment. And I'm going to ask you, did you hear about this story about the Israeli space head that was saying that aliens existed?
No.
All right. So here, This guy's name, and I'm sorry if I butcher it. I'm not trying to. Haim Eshed. He is apparently an ex-Israeli space person who was involved with the space program. I don't know how. Listen, I don't hear about Israelis, going into space too often. But there's nothing that says that they can't. I've just never heard of them having a space program. But he says the aliens have asked us not to announce that they are here because humanity is not ready yet.
They have asked not to announce that.
According to the Jewish press, he says Trump was on the verge of revealing aliens' existence, but the aliens in the Galactic Federation are saying, wait, let people calm down first with everything going on. He was the helm of Israel's space security program from 1981 to 2010. He said they don't want to start a mass hysteria. They want to first make us sane and understanding before they appear. Now, a lot of people are saying this is crap, whatever, but I want it to go back because a former Canadian minister, Paul Hellyer, said that extraterrestrials are living among us, but they won't share their advanced technology with us because of our wearing and polluting ways and that we're not ready yet. Now,
so it's Men in Black, basically.
I don't know, never saw it. But, well, I mean, let me say this. I completely believe all this. Not because I'm an alien nut job. I rarely ever think about aliens. Aliens aren't something that are on my mind. I know there's some people that constantly think about aliens. They're not on my mind at all. Like, aliens cross my mind a couple of times a year out of just wondering. So I don't obsess about it, but I 100% believe this. And I just kind of want to see. I know Wick was thinking there's going to be something political I was going to hit him with because I was like, I got something I want to ask you about. But I want to talk about something a little bit fun, but we can get a little bit into it. What's your feeling on this? Do you think obviously this is possible. If I say, do you think it's possible? Of course, you're going to say yes. But what do you think? Like, do you think that there's truth to this? Or you think it's all just bull?
It's all baloney.
But why? But why do you think it's baloney?
Because there's no evidence.
But what evidence? Well, is there really no evidence? Because we have documents from even the military where guys are on routine missions and, doing their, reports or whatever, and they're flying over whatever, land area, and they're coming across things that are on video all the time. I think
that's happened a couple of times, but it's never been confirmed that it was anything other than it's just speculative.
But it's hard for me to believe that we are.
I think there are aliens. We're not the only presence in the universe. I think mathematically that's almost a fact. Okay. Whether they're here or not is another matter altogether.
But wouldn't you think that they're advanced enough to be here?
Well, I've always wanted to. Well, if they got here, they would have to be advanced, far more advanced than we are.
Yeah,
because they would have to come from a different galaxy. That whose planet was far enough from their sun to foster life, and then to be able to build a spacecraft and sustain life long enough to come here. So, by definition, they would have to be far more advanced than we are.
Now, I had a podcast many, many moons ago. They did a lot of interviews. And I had a guy on by the name of Ed Komarek. Komarek. And he wrote a book called UFOs, Exopolitics and the New World Disorder. And so use a book if you believe that multiple species of aliens have and are interacting with us now. He defines exopolitics, EXOPOLITICS, as politics of the universe. He states exopolitics is about extraterrestrial races and civilizations and how these infinite spacefaring creatures and cultures interact among
Spacefaring.
themselves.
I like that.
Interact among themselves and with us. It's difficult to think that we haven't gained some technology from maybe something beyond us. I mean, but his thing was when I did the interview with him was that there was specifically two different types of race of aliens. There were grays and there were whites. Now, this is not a racial thing before everybody gets upset. Don't leave comments about it. I didn't say it. He said it. Of course, the whites are good. In the sensitive time that we're in right now, the whites are good, and they do live among us. He says that they're basically they look like Nordic people. They're very tall, blonde, pale skinned, and he says they're actually beautiful people, and they're I don't remember where he said they were from, but there's also grays, and grays are
So
typically
they're basically Swedes.
They're Swedish people. Yeah,
that would make sense.
And they can build a damn car though. I think the Saab has like 1 million miles on it. Anyway, Saab engine. Anyway, the grays are evil. Okay. And those are the ones that are actually doing testing and, taking people in their bed at night and all this other stuff. And,
right.
Like, what was it? The Third Kind. What was the movie? Something the Third Kind. Encounters.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Yeah, that kind of crap. Where people are getting abducted and tested. And unexplainable events that happen, like livestock and stuff like that.
Right.
So they're trying to collect data. I guess they're the Nazis of the space world, right? But the idea that he had through interviews with people who were in government, according to Ed Kermerick, who was very intelligent when I spoke with him. And I might put a link to that if I still have it. Anyway, was that basically they want to share, they have the technology to get here. They want to share with us the technology to get there. But they basically feel that we're not ready because of our inability to have a peaceful world and to not be on the same page. I'm sure with everything going on, they really have backed off the last couple of months. But anyway, I don't even watch sci-fi shows. I'm not a guy who knows Star Wars. I mean, I watched it. I'm not going to lie. I couldn't tell you who's really who. Like, don't mistake this conversation as, I don't know, either of us being just sci-fi freaks who, talk about aliens and are part of alien conspiracy groups and all. That's not who I am. And I don't believe, Wick, that's really who you are.
No.
Okay. But I think it's interesting that somebody who has some type of power to know these things is expressing that aliens are living among us and they're ready to talk to us whenever we're ready to kind of calm down and be normal. I don't think that that's a far stretch to what's really going on. And I find it amazing that you would sit there and say, I don't think that would be possible. Because I do think that there's plenty of evidence out there. We see people all the time getting kidnapped and tested.
Well, they claim they have, but I mean, we also have a lot of evidence of mental illness.
Sure, we have evidence.
Empirical evidence.
But you don't think that anybody that ever has said that they've been abducted has actually been abducted?
No, because why did it suddenly stop? It was a trend.
I think people still say they're abducted.
And you believe them just on the face of it?
No, I don't. But I was reading something that I was going to make a topic on one of our shows once before about sleep paralysis, about how people have these horrible, moments where they're sleeping.
Right.
It feels like something's on top of them or something's happening or they're seeing creatures. And they say that when it happens to you, and it has happened to me before, I didn't have hallucinations. I've definitely had sleep paralysis. Have you?
No.
You never had it?
No,
It's extremely terrifying. You
I
kind of
want
wake
to have
up.
it.
Yeah. Well, my experience was nothing like an alien experience. I just, on a simple side of things, like there are times in my life where I've been in a deep sleep and woken up and my body hasn't. And there's probably 5 to 7 seconds of not being able to move your body. Nothing's ever happened as far as I know. I mean, maybe that is the abduction. I don't know. I don't think I've been abducted, by the way. But there are people that say that they have this problem on a regular routine basis. Now, this is not a routine thing for me. It doesn't happen often. It's happened a couple of times in my life. But there are people that will say this happens on a routine basis where they're sleeping and they recognize that there's a presence in the room and suddenly they wake up, but they can't move. And they see creatures in the room. They see shadows. They see movement and they feel pressure. They feel held down. They feel like a great weight is on them. I'm not to say that some of these people couldn't be abducted in their very own beds. I don't think it's a strange thing to consider.
You don't think it's a strange thing to consider that aliens enter your home, abduct you from your bed, take you out of your home into an unidentified flying object and conduct experiments?
Maybe not take me into their. I want to clarify again. I'm using myself as I don't, because I'll start a whole lot of things. But I do think that it's possible that something is in the room for some people that are going through this, and especially if it's repetitive all the time. Sure, I don't think it's a stretch to think that they couldn't have something going on with them, that there couldn't have been something of a different.
Well, what's more likely that a neuroscientific event is occurring,
But
or
here's
they're
the
being
thing.
abducted by aliens?
Here's the thing about sleep paralysis and hallucinations. There's no scientific reason for it. They don't know why. Science has not figured out why. They can guess. They have some theories as to why this is happening to people, but they don't have any concrete evidence of why it's happening to people.
That's because, but science doesn't end. It's a continuing, expanding process.
Well, yeah, I get that part, but I'm just saying that we have so many answers for neurological issues that this one suddenly we don't have an answer for. I mean, I'm not saying that we
Probably
won't.
because there's not enough testing done.
Probably not, but I wouldn't
Because it's not
I wouldn't discount that what these people see sometimes might be real. Now, I'm not saying that everybody that has sleep paralysis and goes through this is, being abducted. I'm saying that there could be a small percentage of people that are. I don't think that's crazy to think, because I have a hard time believing that we're the smartest species in the universe. Our universe, probably in comparison, well, our solar system in comparison to the universe is probably quite small. To think that there aren't other races, cultures.
No, I don't argue that.
That aren't more advanced, that probably, I mean, what do we do when we test on things? I mean, we go in and pull things out of holes. We go in and grab things up and put them in cages and take a look at them. I don't think that would be extreme that if we were to explore another planet and find life, like let's say that we go to it, let's say we find a planet and there's life there. And there's some weird creature that's living in a hole. You don't think we're going to pull that thing out of the hole and take it back? Or to study it for a little bit before we release it? Of course. I don't think it's anything different.
Even if it's living in a condo?
Sure. Sure. What's a condo in Florida to you is, a condo to a cobra who's living in the ground in a hole in Asia. I mean, how do you know that he doesn't feel like that's a condo?
And I would not pull out a cobra out of his condo.
No, but I mean, no, you wouldn't. But some people do, right? They do it. They test them. They give them a shot.
They put it on YouTube. Yeah.
They put it on YouTube. Yeah. They give them microchips. Like, I know all this sounds crazy. but for the art of conversation here,
I think for
I think
one
it has
of
to be considered.
a lot of these, I won't say it's conspiracy theory, but I mean, most of this is just fun to think about.
It's fun to think about until what happens on the day. They say today's the day. You guys just can't get crap right. You're a bunch of idiots. Here it is. I mean, if aliens are here and this space head in Israel is Israel's correct, and this guy in
Space
Canada,
head, anyway. Does he
right?
call himself a space head, or was that his title?
No, they just said space head, but this is on MSN and all kinds of. I mean, it was on all major news sites. You know, it just got buried because people are suing over votes right now.
Yeah.
You know, there's just so much else going on. But let me throw this at you though. And you're a non-Trumper. We're not here to do politics tonight. We'll do them at some point because they're inevitable. But I kind of told somebody the other day. I said, you know what? Everybody laughed about this Space Force thing, right? Everybody was like, the Space Force, Trump Space Force, so dumb. What an idiot. What a moron. And I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote for Biden. But I thought it was kind of silly too. And then I thought, wait a minute. What if he knows something we don't know? What if there is something there that he knows?
I'm not going to trust his judgment.
I get that. But
of all the people on Earth, he ranks probably in the bottom 3% of people whose judgment I would trust.
Okay. But for him to say, we're going to have a Space Force, for people to volunteer for this, for people to put money into it, there has to be other people that believe in the same thing too. Right? There has to be other people within the government that says, yeah, this is a great idea. Let's put it together. You know, I mean, you can't just create the Space Force all on his own and put funding into it. There has to be people that are making this happen. So there are other people in the government that are saying, yeah, this is legit. So if we take our personal feelings out of it, and a president says, I'm going to create a Space Force, you may laugh about that, but I kind of look at it differently and I say, why? Is there a reason we got to have a Space Force? And when you hear this stuff from the Israeli, space head, you hear this from a former Canadian minister, and there are other, I'm sure I can find them. I'll have to go look because I didn't know if I'd go this much in detail. But if there are people that are out there that are saying this is happening within their governments, how are we to just say, well, that's not legit? What if it's a little bit deeper? What if Trump does have that information, or a president? Let's just say
that's a lot of what ifs on the face of no evidence.
But I still think that there is plenty of evidence to support that there's other life. And there's definitely enough evidence to support that there's something mysterious that has happened
to theorize
to other people, including military personnel.
Theorize there's other life, but there's no material evidence.
I'll go one step further. We'll do a checkmate. What if the people that are now there are people, listen, we would be foolish to say that there aren't tons of stories out there of people who have come across these situations where they've been what they believe to be a UFO crash or whatever. They call it the authorities. I mean, sheriffs. There was an interview with the sheriff in, I can't remember, Arizona, that was called out to a crash. And he's like, dude, I saw the bodies. Next thing you know, the government's there cleaning it all up. And they come out and they tell their stories. Then people like you call them crazy. Right? Because most people are not going to want to believe it. What if these people are telling the truth? And then you have...
But then why do they never have photographs? Why do they never have any material evidence?
I don't think at the time with that particular story, they even had like a camera around. Like, I don't think it was a camera thing, but I would think that by the time something like that happens, you've already got government people on the scene. Like, I think there are people that are, if this is happening, You have people that are in control that can sweep this under the rug quick. I mean, we see it with everything. I mean, we see it with people and politicians. They sweep things under the rug.
It's rule number one of conspiracy theories. Two people can't keep a secret.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's human nature.
It is definitely a conspiracy theory. But I think we're discrediting a major news story. And it seems like every time something like this kind of comes out, it kind of gets buried. Like a lot of people will report on it, like on this particular one. And then all of a sudden there's other big events that kind of just bury it. I mean, you're pretty news savvy. You're a news savvy fella. And here I am telling you about this. You're like, I don't know anything about it, but it was on every major.
I'm not that news savvy. I read the headlines. That's it.
But I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility. You're telling me it's beyond the realm of possibility.
No, I didn't.
You're saying you don't believe in any of it.
Right. That doesn't make it beyond the realm of possibility.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I feel like all this could be legit. And I just wonder,
do you feel like it
happens?
could be legit, or do you want it to be legit?
I don't want it to be legit.
Because life would be a lot less boring if it were true.
I kind of look at the miniseries V. Some of you guys will remember it.
Yeah.
Experience.
You want to live in a miniseries. That's the truth of the matter.
Well, my experience with aliens on TV as a young child were lizard people who ate rats. So
because we are bored pattern-seeking mammals.
No, now listen. We can. Okay, so we can. You're exactly right on that end. When I think people think about like zombie apocalypse stuff,
right?
Like I think there's some addiction to the apocalypse where people think, and we can tie this into the alien thing, I guess. Okay, so I think there are people that are addicted to the end of the world and how to survive. Like this whole Walking Dead thing that kind of died out, but it still kind of happens. I mean, we're still seeing zombie movies and
survivalists
movies.
Always pop up in
survivalist shows,
a different iteration.
Right. I mean, we kind of see it with the election with, you have certain people that, going off the grid.
I bought a tent and a machete.
Right.
Yeah.
And, be careful what you ask for. You may think that that's what you want. It's not really what you want. I don't know. I think aliens honestly challenge a lot of things for us. And maybe not in a good way. I think it challenges religion, which I've always said, I am a religious person. Okay. May not sound like it at times, but I am. I'm privately very spiritual. I don't go to churches and stuff, but
so you're spiritual. You're not.
Well, I'm not into organized religion.
Right.
Okay. Which is probably a cheap way of saying I don't like having to get up and go to church. But
yeah, early on Sunday, it's
right. There's nobody more realistic about their own laziness than I am.
Yeah, the NFL begins at 10 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. I play a lot of fantasy football. And I would think that it would bring it. Okay, so the existence of aliens brings in what problems? It brings in probably some religious problems. I think it challenges the reality for a lot of people. I think it changes their perspective of what life is for a lot of people. I think it's chaotic. I think the existence of aliens, if that happens, don't get me wrong. I think that it's a chaotic experience for the American society, for the world, because then it challenges what you religiously believe, which personally, I've always said, I sound like a conspiracy theorist or an alien nut. I've always said I'm open to the idea that God's an alien. Why not? Why not? It doesn't always have to be something that
would actually make more sense.
Yeah, I mean, God could be an alien. That's good for me. I mean, for me to believe that we're not the only people in the galaxy or universe, and then for me to think that God only would look like me, it's pretty silly. So God could be alien. I mean, what we could have been created. Who knows? Maybe the human race was created as an experiment for alien races or alien race or advanced alien people.
We're living in a giant petri dish
We absolutely could be.
for alien scientists.
Yeah, and they're like, we're going to see what happens, and then they were kind of hoping we would do a lot better than we're doing, and now they're like, man, I'm not even going to walk out there and tell you it's our responsibility. Like, that could be why aliens are hiding. Maybe they created the Earth and the human race and the solar system and everything like that. And they're like, dude, if we go out there and tell people we created all this, they're going to hate us because this is basically our fault.
No, I think it would be the opposite. I think it would give people a lot more security in their lives.
Well, I don't know. I think so. A lot of my theory of why society is the way that it is because, and you'll probably disagree. You might agree, but my theory is that there's been a loss of faith, and I don't mean you have to believe in God. I just think that there has been a spiritual loss. Like, understand, I'm not going to preach. I'm not going to quote Bible verses because I don't know them, but I do think that there is a loss of something greater, and I think for ages before now, where we're the smartest we're so advanced at this point in our technology and our thinking and how we understand our bodies and our brains and medicines and all this other stuff, that I think a lot of people have lost faith on something greater than themselves, something that maybe even passes judgment, something that even
I
weighs
think people
your
have
heart.
lost faith on humanity,
Right,
which is
but
ironic considering the times in which we live.
I don't know that you should have a lot of faith in humanity
Well, why not?
because humanity ultimately fails. I mean,
That's fatalistic.
I mean, look at how many wars we have over stupid stuff. Look how many people lie, cheat, and steal. I mean, all you gotta do is look at the election.
Yeah, but
I'm
think
not
about
saying
how much
anybody's wrong or
better,
right on that, but I'm just
how much
saying
less violent it is now than it was 1,000 years ago.
it's less violent now because we have drones.
No, just in general.
How's it less violent now?
Vikings. I mean, they just
Yeah, but that was a small that was a small group of people that
it was
affected
all
a small
of
group,
history.
a small area.
It was the Huns. It was Vikings. It was
Right, but if you're taking over the world by horse, it's going to take you a very long time to get that far. I mean, we're not talking about a complete world. We've never seen complete world domination for a reason.
well. This is a very interesting topic because there's one author, I believe his name is Steven Pinker, and he's written several books on how we are doing as a species collectively much better than we ever have.
I do think
there's less war. Violent crime has been trending down for decades now, globally.
but is that the measure?
I mean, think
that
of
the measuring stick?
Think of 1943.
Or
Over
well,
half the planet was at war.
okay. And I don't think that we're away from that yet. I think that that's still a possibility.
It's always a possibility,
right?
But I mean, think there was less than 20 years. It was about 22 decades between the First Great War and the Second Great War. And now we're almost we're 75 years removed from the end of World War II. And we have had nothing on the scale of that war since, not even close.
But I think wars are fought differently now than they used to be.
They are fought differently now, but even like think of Vietnam, think of Korea, even as opposed, or Iraq or Afghanistan as opposed to World War II.
I get it. I just think that we fight differently, and I think people are. I think people are more advanced in how they're horrible people. Like I think the horribleness
They're salesmen
of the
now.
world has advanced. I don't think
Always
that
gonna, I think that's always going to be there because of our survival instinct.
Right. But the thing is that
Mhm.
if I don't think that people had a lot of faith in humanity before, which is why faith in something else was stronger.
Because life was insufferable when
Right.
most religions were born,
Right. But I think that because of
and death was all
advances,
around you all the time.
right. But I think because of advances in medicine, advances in technology, advances in a lot of it, like I just think that people have detached themselves from their spiritual self. Again, I'm not saying that you have to believe in God to feel like this. I think that you can believe in nature, you can believe in the universe, you can believe in whatever you want to believe in. Okay. I think people have gotten away from being creative. I think we've gotten away from digging into our own creativity and creating things that make us happy because everything is so in front of us at all times. We don't, I mean, people are creating art on
But
iPads.
don't you think in the tyranny of the moment throughout history, almost everybody has thought that because of fear of the future?
I mean, in specific, what do you mean?
That at all times in the history of man, the terror of going forward and not knowing what lay ahead has caused that
Sure.
mindset.
I mean, I think it's the fact that I think every generation thinks that they're the last generation,
It's yeah,
right?
and there's ego involved in that.
But we have a primitive thing that's in our brains, okay? That we've
Yeah,
had that's a survival. It's survival.
yeah, it's
I
the
can't,
yeah.
I can't remember what exactly it's called, and I'll post that on the description.
The amygdala.
No, but it's the idea that the worst outcome
The
is the most likely outcome of all things. So when we were cavemen, or even before then, whenever we first developed, we eat a berry, that berry made us sick or killed our buddy. And we said, okay, all berries we can't eat. Fire burns, it's, killed my friend, caught him on fire. Fire. Okay. So we have this natural thing that throughout time of humans, that the worst
yeah.
is the most likely outcome. Okay.
Well, yeah. That is the amygdala. That's the fear reflex.
I don't know. It doesn't sound like whatever, but you 100% might be on it. There's a theory, and I can't think of the theory, but it's the idea that everything is at its worst all the time because we're programmed that way for survival. Because
Right.
if we think that everything is great, then we basically take our eye off the prize.
Right.
And that's why, like, I think we're at a really great point, with health, despite the COVID thing. I mean, 11 months later, we've got a vaccine. Like,
To get out of survival mode all
right,
the time.
right. But the idea is that everything's always the worst. And I think that we're dealing with that now, even though it's not. All indications are that we're living at the greatest time in American history, as far as
We're living in the greatest time to ever be alive,
right,
ever by
not
far.
entertainment wise, but yeah,
Not maybe not culture. I mean,
music sucks right now.
the Renaissance may have been, a cultural explosion, but there was no
Right.
antibiotics.
Right.
Antibiotics, since the introduction of antibiotics, I guess almost a century ago, the average lifespan of a human being on planet Earth was 35 years. We have now expanded that to over 70. We have doubled the lifespan in 100 years. That's astonishing that human beings can do that. And now with the Human Genome Project,
Yeah.
who knows what lay ahead?
I'm trying to look at the theory while you're speaking so that I can be on the same page. I wish I could find it because I always try to remember it. This thing's telling me it's Dan Murphy's Law. Anyway, but I think that people I think every generation thinks this is the end, right? because it's what we're programmed to believe, that death and the end will end with us. It's a lot of it's ego too, that life can't go on without us.
Without me, I'm so
Right.
damn important.
But it's like put it in a football term for guys. Like it's this idea like, okay, Peyton Manning, he didn't break his neck, but he hurt his neck, right?
Right. Yeah.
When he was with the Colts. Most people at that time would have told you he'll never come back. He'll never play. He'll never play. He'll never play.
Right.
Then he comes back and he ends up winning some Super Bowls winning a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos.
Yeah. Even though he didn't have much to do with that Super Bowl.
Even though he didn't, but he still did it. He still had to throw some passes. He still played throughout the year, and he was very good throughout the year that he played with Denver. Very good. We're talking like 500-yard games and 5 touchdown games. So, so the idea is that, well, automatically Peyton Manning will never be back because it's that thought that everything's its worst. Like we always get news, but I think that spiritually it ties in to where we are as people now, because we have negated spirituality or something larger than us, our creative selves, or the things that make us joyful in life, that we've been so mechanically and robotically enhanced as far as how we see things and how we purchase things. And we wouldn't go to malls anymore. I mean, we're just buying things online, like all this convenience opportunity that we've almost just kind of disconnected from an idea that there's something greater. And I think that.
Oh, you're suggesting like we're living entirely in the material world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Almost entirely. And I think that if you bring along this idea that aliens were to come out and say, look, we're here, we exist, I think it would challenge religion even further.
They'd probably be here to sell us something. If they do come here, it's going to be a pyramid scheme.
That's right. It's going to be a pyramid scheme. They've got this great thing, pink drink, that we're going to get. It's going to change our lives.
So nutrition. They're going to pitch us nutrition shakes.
Right. Lose 20 pounds in 2 days.
They're all going to be life coaches. They're already here. You're right.
That's right. That's the other thing too, is all these people that are life coaches. I don't need a
what?
What? I don't need it. But I just think that we're so disconnected that I don't know. I think you're already challenged with spirituality and your connection to nature. Let me say that your connection to nature, what's around you. A lot of people say that is what spirituality is. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to be God in any specific. That's not what we're doing on this show. But I'm just saying, I think we lost our spiritual connect to the things around us. And I don't know. I think aliens revealing themselves probably changes so many things, man, in a negative way. I think people that would be ultra religious too would probably question their religion.
Oh, they would just do a 180, like immediately.
Yeah, I mean, they would probably say it's Antichrist,
Yeah, well, it would begin with that, and
could be. I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying, hey, so basically what I'm getting to on this long rant we went on is, no, I actually don't think that revealing aliens to be real would be anywhere near beneficial. In fact, I think it would be chaotic. I think it would be mayhem. I think it would be nuts, because I think everything people thought that they knew completely changes overnight, right? Like, imagine waking up like we see in the movies. Imagine waking up and having these huge spaceships over major cities all over the world. Like we see it. I think that's how Beast started. Well, we've seen it in movies. We've seen it in movies before.
You just want it to happen. You are here for the entertainment value, like I am. And right now,
it's at an all-time high.
It's at and
but I mean,
we need a boost.
But I mean, like, it's, if the Space Force is needed to be created, and the governments know something, and these heads of governments are saying that aliens are here, and people are writing books about people are writing books after interviewing people in the government about, galactic politics and how things work galactically with politically. I mean, that changes everything if that comes out to be true, right? I mean, it can't not change everything you think. Like if that happens, what's the first, like, how do you think that you feel? Let me put it to you this way. Aliens reveal themselves. We're here, we're here to help you. We're here to give you technology beyond your imagination. Which honestly, when I look at a fax machine, I know I'm dating myself. When I look at the fax machine, when I look at internet, when I look at how an AC thermostat works, when I look at like fuses, when I look at all these things, and I'm confused at how they work, how somebody could even think about a fax machine, Wick. Like, how does somebody make that work? Like, just off the top of their head. I mean, how does somebody make a telephone work off the top of their head?
Don't they basically? I mean, it's kind of building blocks. They're
Yeah.
taking elements from other previously existing.
But what if you were to find out?
technology.
What if you were to find out that was technology passed down?
From aliens?
Sure.
Then they would have started with fire.
What do you mean? Started
Well,
a
fire technically is the beginning of technology and the
okay. I
beginning
got what
of
you're saying. Okay.
yeah.
Who's to say they have it? Maybe the first people were given. I mean, think about that. Like that's an interesting concept too. And we're being a little silly here, but think about that. Like, how do you, if you're in the woods right now, Wick, and I mean, right now, you wouldn't know how to start a fire, would you?
Oh yes, I would.
Oh, you would?
I'm a master fire builder.
I mean, without matches.
Yeah.
What would you use? You're in the middle of the
Stuff.
woods.
You do what our ancestors did.
Jesus Christ. If you say
you'd
rub
find-
two sticks together, I'm going to lose my mind.
You would rub two sticks
Come
together
on.
or stones together. How do you think they did it?
I think they found flint, which you would have to find. And I don't even know if we would know it. I don't even know if flint is native to where we live. Right. And then,
Yeah, it is.
do you know how hard it would be to rub two sticks together?
You get cold enough, you'd figure it out, mother.
I don't know. There's a lot of people that
Necessity is the mother.
there's a lot of people
invention.
that die from the cold out in the woods. A lot.
Right. We discover fire. A lot of people stop
I
dying.
don't know. I mean, what concept? I mean, think about it though. Like, I mean, it's hard to do because of what we know now.
Right.
As two people who, survival shows and all this other stuff. But think about not having any of that knowledge. Putting, like, let's say, an 11-year-old kid who's old enough, who's mentally developed enough. Say, okay, kid, but maybe hasn't been privy to obvious information about how to start a fire.
Right.
You put him out in the woods. Yeah, he can get cold, but there's kids that die in the woods all the time because they did. I don't know of any. I've never heard a story of anyone being in the woods that figured out how to just start fire without any prior knowledge. And they got damn cold.
Well, somebody did. People with a lot less brain development than we have.
Right. And I'm not saying that we didn't before I get hate comments. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it's possible that all of these things that we have that have helped us through our survival, our basic survival needs, have been shared with us before our privy of knowledge. Like, how many generations are we removed millions of years from the first people?
30,000 generations in our current form.
30,000 generations. Do you think throughout that 30,000 generations, somebody's going to be like, hey, aliens gave us flint or told us to use flint, or aliens gave us technology to make the fax machine?
What if the first guy to build a fire, like, accomplished it, and his friend's like, hey, how'd you do that? And he was like, alien. This dude, he kind of looked like a lizard.
Why would that be weird?
He was right back there.
Why would that be weird to you?
Over by the gulch.
Why is that weird?
No, I mean, I'm saying that's. And then the other guy was like, "You're full of shit."
He's like,
the
no,
guy's like,
man.
"No, it really happened." And
Listen,
he's like, "No."
This alien taught me to rub these two things together to make fire and to add all this fuel to it. Gives off warmth, and also,
cook your meat.
Cut my meat for me.
Well, think about this. This is an astonishing fact. Is the reason our craniums and our craniums grew and our brains grew within them is because of fire. Because now we could cook our meat,
And so we could get the nutrition.
and so our mandibles shrank, and that opened up space within our skulls for our brains to develop.
So now we have bigger brains that are mostly.
So now we have bigger brains.
Fantastic. I mean, I'm not saying that any of this happened. For again, people will troll. That's not. We're just having conversation here, and I don't think it's so weird to think about that we didn't have help. You know, because it's really hard for me to sit down and think about how somebody can conceive the internet. That is.
But we did.
That is so far beyond my.
But we did.
Pay grade. But maybe we didn't.
Why can't we give ourselves credit for it?
Because I don't think that we're as intelligent as we make ourselves out to be. We live a lie. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't think
that's a very interesting question.
Maybe we don't deserve the credit we think we do.
Like almost every religion on earth starts with the hypothesis that we're sinful creatures.
But I think we're starting off with the hypothesis that we're the most intelligent creatures, which obviously we are on the planet.
Right.
But who's to say that, fire didn't come from somewhere else? We don't know.
Why couldn't it have been a genius ancestor? We have geniuses. We have geniuses all throughout history.
I've been around my ancestors.
No, you haven't. Well, your immediate ancestors.
Right.
Maybe.
Right. I'm not going to give them.
There are geniuses throughout history.
Yeah.
Ben Franklin, electricity.
But what if you found out that was all a lie?
But we haven't found out it's a lie because it happened.
If these aliens come out, you will. They'll be like, "Hey, man, we passed all this down."
Because we can't do anything on our own.
But listen, I do think that there's certain. I do think it's hard for me to believe that certain technologies we just came up with. The internet for one, fax machines for one.
These are even low-level technologies that aren't even that.
They're not
amazing.
They're not even that amazing anymore. Like nobody even sells fax machines anymore. People are like, "What are you talking about? A fax machine?" Right now, there's somebody who's 23 looking up fax machines on Google.
Yeah.
But I don't.
But we did all of those things.
Space travel. You're giving us a lot of credit.
Because we deserve a lot of credit.
I don't know, man. You may find out we don't. But I don't think it's all right. All kidding aside, we are kind of joking. But all kidding aside, I don't think that it's strange to think that there wouldn't be aliens that are on this planet awaiting their moment.
And why are the aliens better than us? I've often wondered that.
Obviously, because they're very patient. They're a very patient species if they're here, aren't they? They're more patient than we are. I mean, listen, like it's like people say about religion. I mean, there's things that we don't understand, that we can't conceive.
Pattern-seeking mammals.
Right.
Seeking a pattern in chaos.
There's things that we don't understand. And I think it's stupid to think that we understand a lot of that. There's a lot of stuff we don't get. Like we were just talking about sleep paralysis. They don't know. They don't know. Like there's a lot of things that happen that we don't know why they happen. And
you know what the beauty is, though? We will probably eventually know.
There's a lot of things that have been going on for most of our existence that we don't know why they happen.
Yeah, and then we find out.
Well, there's a lot of stuff we haven't found out yet.
Yeah, but what we found out is amazing.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. So you're not excited.
I mean, we know more about the human brain than we've ever known, and what drives us.
Over time, you're going to have that too, as technology.
The neuroscience that drives us.
I mean, think about X-rays.
The reason you want a new phone, and you got to have new technology, and you got to have a new car, and what salesmen thrive upon is the DNA in the back of your skull right here that is implanted there that was in your ancestors, who had to go out and find a richer food source. So they were suspended in a state of want so they could survive. Because eventually this food source is going to be depleted. We have to move on and find more.
Perhaps that's why the aliens are hiding out.
And that's why we want things constantly.
What would you do tomorrow if you did find out all this to be true? Like, what would it change for you if Haim Eshed is right and tomorrow they reveal themselves? What changes for you?
Everything would change, I would imagine.
What would you question the most?
Their motives. Because most likely they've run out of resources. Their food sources have dried up, and they've come here.
Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, we explore space not because we're out of resources, but because
it's interesting, though. Like a lot of your thinking on this matter mimics
a 5-year-old.
Why people reach for religion.
Maybe. I think that there's a lot. I think I'm willing to say there's so much that we don't know on a spiritual plane and on a galactic plane that I think anything is possible, I guess, is really where I'm at here. I don't think that anything, when I hear this stuff, I don't just discount it as not possible. I will say that I think probably if I am to believe that there's something out there, then I'm also to believe that it's possible that that something has reached us at this point. And I don't think that if I look at how the world operates, that I'm not too shocked if they did say, I think we need to chill out. I don't think we're quite ready to enter this world yet. Because I don't even want to enter this world. I mean,
well, there's a point there that they would send in spies first.
Which is what they do. That's why all these cows are mutilated and stuff, man.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But and in this book that Ed Kramaric has written, that's basically what they've done. They've come in and they've met with presidents and they have met with ambassadors and prime ministers, and
they would be on a reconnaissance mission.
They give the sales pitch, right? This is what we're here to do. Basically everybody in the universe. Consider this. Everybody that we've been in touch with, and we can fly 500 billion years in so many days. Our technology is that advanced. Everybody is more technically advanced than this world. Earth is the least advanced than everybody else. And we see how you guys operate on your own planet, which is nuts. We've seen your Cold War, your World War I, your World War II. We've seen all this stuff. We've seen the terrorism. We've seen the way you act over politics. We've seen the way you guys act over television, my God. We've seen your news. We've seen all this stuff. You're just not ready to be advanced yet, but we need to get you advanced because something's coming that's much greater than you can think. I don't blame them for saying, this is assuming all this really is going on. I don't blame them for saying they're not ready. It could be that we're just not technologically advanced in comparison to the I'm doing my quotes, exopolitics, like in Ed Kramaric's book. Again, if you want to check that out, it's on Amazon, Komarek. And this guy goes in great detail. I read the book a long time ago. There's a great detail about how the politics of how it all works in space. Sounds funny, but it's interesting, and I don't know. I think if they come here and they say you're really behind, like we have to get you guys caught up for something larger. I don't think it's strange that they're hiding out and waiting for us to be ready. The problem is I don't think we'll ever be ready. It's kind of like, do you really want to know that ghosts exist? But I don't think that it's something that I personally am excited about finding out because it changes everything for me. What am I working for? What's my God? What's what's my purpose?
I think I would welcome that.
You would welcome what?
That kind of change.
Yeah, but you're not. I don't take you as somebody who's overly spiritual yourself. I mean, I think you are, but I don't think you're overly. Like this spiritual identity and political identity is how people thrive right now. That's how they survive, whether it's good or bad. And to have this happen would turn all that into a tailspin.
Well, things are going to happen anyway.
But not on this level. I mean, you talk about a whole nother species from another.
Yeah, I mean, if they are
universe.
in fact here and they see what we've done with COVID, they're like, "Oh Jesus, they're not ready at all."
Right. And I mean, maybe that's what they're saying. They're going, "Hey, you guys are pretty stupid." I mean, I don't think it's weird to look at us in a microscope and say, "My God, you guys, the things that you care about, the things that you're invested in, especially America, the things that you're invested in, you care about." I mean, you're so. It's like I said it's like people not understanding how God can forgive a murderer and all that. And they always say, well, this is a thing that you would never, you can't comprehend. And I think that's kind of maybe in this scenario, if this were to be true, that aliens are saying you can't comprehend all of this. You can't deal with it. You can't handle the truth. And
they might have a point there. I mean,
right.
People deny.
I mean, and that's where we're talking about. I think you give people too much credit. I think if aliens were revealed,
I'm saying as a species, we're incredible. And our accomplishment. Okay. That doesn't mean like, half the people that have ever lived or.
All kidding aside, I agree.
Or just.
I do agree with you.
Useless.
Because we have to have opposite opinions on certain things to make things interesting.
Right.
But I mean, I get.
We should do a show about just two guys agreeing with each other.
Yeah, I agree that everything would be over 15 minutes.
Oh, absolutely. You're one.
But I don't know, man. I just tend to think that if I was an alien species that came here, I'd be like, yeah, these dudes are not ready. And according to this book I was telling you about, and what these people are saying that are in the government, you guys, we're not ready.
Also, if that the space head in Israel there is indeed correct, his life is in jeopardy because he just blew the lid off of the best kept secret in human history.
Well, Trump's on the verge of revealing that aliens exist, but the aliens in the Galactic Federation are saying, wait till let people.
If Trump had that information, there's no way in hell, with his level of impulsivity, that he wouldn't reveal that the moment he found out, because he would figure out a way to benefit financially from it, or at least garner a lot of attention. He would use it immediately.
Oh no! Did he already say something about aliens before?
I'm sure he has. He's also trying to sue the Supreme Court. I don't even know how that works.
Well, now when I look up Trump and aliens, all I get is the same report. So, not really a fair comparison there.
And if he had that information, I'm pretty sure he would have used it to his benefit during the election.
Like, hey, aliens exist, dude. Vote for me.
I'm going to protect you.
I'm going to protect you.
Yeah.
But he's doing that with his Space Force, man. This dude's bringing the Space Force. He's already hinted to you everything you need to know. I am funding a galactic force to be in space, to fight foreign enemies. He's already told you, dude. So nobody's listening.
Oh, everybody listened.
Y'all laughed about it. Y'all made a Netflix show on it, a comedy.
Are you going to join the Space Force?
Me? I'm too old.
Are you? Have you looked into it?
No, because I can't. I have motion sickness. I do, man. That's not a laughing matter. Millions of people suffer from motion sickness. Anyway, my youngest has it, man. You could take him from McDonald's up the street back and he'll puke in your car 3 times. Yeah, motion sickness, man. I went on a listen, I went on a carnival ride one time with a girl I was trying to get with. We rode it used to be called the Momo, but I think it's called the Octopus.
Yeah.
Okay. And it has the arms and the cart spin around inside it,
Yeah.
on the outside of it. And it's like everything. And you're like, it seems like you're going to bang into the one next to you, but it spins you back around. My man,
Mhm.
nothing was happening that night between me and the lady because I had
You
my
were
head out the
vomiting.
window. Dude, I had my head out the
Yeah.
window. I was white as a ghost, pale, trying to suck in air because I thought I was
And
going to
did-
puke all over myself.
Did you have any future with that relationship?
No, it ended quickly.
Right then.
I don't think we ever went out again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't. Well, I'm too old. I have no scientific experience. I would provide nothing, not one iota of help to any of those people on the Space Force. But I also don't want to I'm weird about. I can't go on rides. If a roller coaster goes upside down, I won't ride it.
Really?
Yeah,
You won't ride the
motion
Mindbender?
sickness, dude. Yeah, like I can't get on that and ride it, man. Like I'll be puking.
Do you ride the Goliath? It doesn't go upside down.
I'm sure I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, heights really freak me out, but it's kind of a thrilling freak out. Like I kind of get off on my fear of heights. Like I'll actually
do
look
too.
over the edge of something and be like,
I used to be
"Oh,
terrified of roller coasters. Now I'm like on the front car.
yeah,
I go from 0 to 10
yeah." I mean,
pretty ferociously.
yeah, I remember some of my worst experiences was riding the Batman at Six Flags, and the one that you dangle. God. And then it went upside down and I'm dangling and I'm a big dude and I'm like, man, this thing's gonna break.
Are you a gentleman that enjoys the log flume?
Yes, give me the log.
Yeah, I enjoy the log flume.
Give me the log
every time we
ride,
go, I try to get the girls to go on the log flume. I am always outvoted. We never enjoy the log flume. I find it a very satisfying ride.
Yeah, absolutely. That and
Yeah.
like the Thunder Mountain where you're on the raft, like the big raft, like the
Yeah.
12 person raft, and you're just floating. Man, I love that. I dig that, man. Give me the Child's Mine Train. It has one big drop. That's it. I love that.
Yeah.
And
It speeds up there at the end.
As long as I'm facing forward and I'm not upside down, I'm fine. Or backwards. Don't send me back. I wouldn't get on the Gravitron.
I hate Gravitron. It's dumb.
Yeah, I've never been on one. I'm like, I'm not getting on it. And then, yeah, anything that does that, I can't ride on any of that stuff because I get motion sickness. And I was in the back of a Corolla here. Toyota did these two-seater Celicas GTs one times.
You got motion sickness in one of the slowest cars, and
Yep, it had dude. Listen, it had two doors, and I got in the back. There's a girl I knew had one. I got in the back, and I felt like the top was like really close to my head because it was like a 2-door. Like the back seat was almost non-existent, and like I began to freak out because I couldn't see out the front window. I couldn't see where I was going, and so I'm like, I'm gonna die here. I almost had a panic attack, which is weird for me because I'm really laid back. But I didn't reveal that to anyone. You bet your ass though. On the way home, I sat in the front. But anyway, being back in the car, man, I was like, I feel sick. So yeah, I got motion sickness. You can't put me on a rocket ship and send me to space to do anything.
getting motion
Being
sickness on
weightless.
playing Flight Simulator.
I have no desire to be like zero gravity weightless. Like no desire. I don't think I would do well with that. So no, you won't see me on the Space Force. But I think it's interesting. I think Trump's already answered your question. He's already told you that it's real.
Yeah, and I just blindly trust what he tells me.
Oh, you shouldn't blindly trust it. But what are you gonna? But I mean, okay, so we gotta
He
get out
said
of
a
here.
lot of things.
Hold on. But what if Biden doesn't dismantle this? What if Space Force is still Space Force, 5 years from now? Then are you going to think differently about it?
Well, isn't Space Force a lot of it's about defense against other nations? It's kind of like Reagan's Star Wars.
Like fighting wars in
Like,
space?
yeah, like the defense shield, the missile shield back in
I
the
mean, are they
late
going to shoot
80s.
a missile into the space and then the missile's going to come down from space? And shouldn't we already have like
No, we can
Star
track
Wars
them from
defense systems?
satellites. That we can track them from satellites, though.
Did the Star Wars defense system even ever work?
I don't think it ever got up.
I don't think it did.
No.
They did say that we got the technology for lasers and stuff from it. Like there's a lot of technology that came from the Star Wars program that we use even today.
And I'm not privy enough to national security to know, but a lot of this stuff is done because the reason the Soviet Union fell is they were spending too much of their GDP on national defense, and that was a big, and we played a huge part in that by lying about how much we had, and they just kept building and building and building, and they couldn't sustain themselves economically.
Right.
So
they didn't have a strong economy anyway.
Space Force could be another illusion like that. Who knows?
Way to mess with Putin?
Yeah,
maybe.
Putin.
Maybe. But listen, I'm all in. I think it's happening. I think aliens are here. I think it would be silly to think that they're not. I'm 100% interested in this. I would say I hope it's not true, but I don't know what.
So it's. Let me just clear.
I don't know if we find out
it's
where we
silly
are.
not to believe that aliens are among us.
I don't understand your phrasing.
I'm repeating what you said.
All right, repeat it again.
It's silly to believe that aliens are not among us.
I'm going to go with a yeah. What is correct? Yeah. And Jeopardy would be, Sam's theory on
I would assert that it's sillier to believe that they are.
Okay, that's fine. You listen, it's America. You can do whatever you want to do. I just think you're wrong.
I think you're
Listen,
wrong.
if you think aliens exist and you think that they're an advanced culture,
right,
species, to think that they haven't gotten here by this point, I think they have.
And why would we be?
Well,
why are we so egotistical to believe we're their final destination?
Because I think that they are.
When we
realize that we're so far behind.
When in the grand scope of the universe, human beings, all the human beings that ever existed, hardly even mathematically register.
We've never done anything
in the universe
than what's on this planet. Like we've never, other than, explore our immediate space area, we really aren't that advanced as far as space goes. But what if other races and species around us are that advanced? Of course they're going to visit and be like, what's wrong with you?
And what if they're not?
What if they're not here?
What if they're not that advanced? Why do they have to be advanced?
Well, then we're wasting our time on this.
Yeah.
Everybody's wasted their time.
What if we're the aliens that are eventually going to go out to other planets and infiltrate their world and bring them the Holy Grail?
I don't think we'll ever get
the
there.
Answers.
I don't think we'll get there without help. Because you're talking billions of years away. A lot of they say that they have this Earth planet that they found that's like 50 billion years away.
Yeah.
We're not. I don't think we're
now imagine
without help
how sophisticated a species has to be to even discover that planet.
But then you're completely thrown out that you have to understand that we may be the dumbest species in any of the galactic area where we live. Like, let's say that we may think that we're living in this huge universe, but it's relatively small to everything else, like I said before. And everybody else around us is like, good God, man, we're waiting forever for these people to catch up. Like, they are so slow. And we're like, man, we're moving at the speed of light, man. This technology is amazing. They're like, yeah, we had.
I wonder why we give
years ago
the aliens so much credit for being so superior.
because I don't know. I mean, it just feels like
Couldn't they be a
we would
bunch
be
of
the least
schlubs like
advanced.
us? Wouldn't
Because
they
I
be a
look
bunch of
around.
schlubs like us?
I mean, obviously, maybe,
With like
but
1 out of 1,000 of them is like brilliant.
I mean,
And that 1 out of 1,000 does something incredible that benefits the other 999.
maybe they're smart enough to give that guy the keys, or woman. Yeah, maybe they're smart enough.
We're smart enough to do that.
We're not smart enough to do that. We can't even agree on an election, dude. What are you talking about?
Are you kidding? Yeah. In this particular moment in history.
Yeah, but shouldn't we be more advanced in 2020 than arguing about all this stuff?
Well, think about what the world was like in 1890.
I don't know what happened in 1890. What happened? Something
Think
had to
about
happen.
think about the think about the explosion in the last 100 years, 120 years in technology.
Okay.
Think
I don't
about
know
what's
where we're
happened
going.
think about what's happened in the last 200 years.
Sure.
And we're not an admirable species.
What has been the greatest discovery in the last 200 years? Smarty pants.
It would be a little longer than 200 years. It would have been about 250 years ago.
All right.
Electricity.
Okay. Right.
Where we would be nowhere without electricity.
But don't you feel like that's a very dated technology?
Yeah, but it fuels everything else. Absolutely everything else. All
Right.
other technology.
But if that's your biggest advancement, to think that planetarily, galactically, whatever the word is, that being your greatest
you
achievement.
suppose all of these things and give aliens credit for technology that we don't even know they have.
Right, but you're proposing that electricity is the greatest thing that ever happened in the last 250 years, but look at where we are with electricity at this point. We're still at the same spot we probably were
Look what
100
we
years
built
ago.
look at what we built with electricity.
Well, we build a lot of things with electricity because shit's got to plug in, man.
Exactly.
You know,
So that's why it's the most important.
but there's no
invention.
advancement in electricity since that.
You can't advance electricity.
Sure,
you can
you
discover it.
Sure, you can.
Well, Tesla did.
Right. You can put a battery in your home. You know, you don't have to have the same electricity that you've been having for the last 250 years. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, it's an advancement for sure, but where did it go after that? It's still kind of what it was.
Look at what we're doing right now.
So
imagine me coming to you in 1990 and telling you I'm going to get on this little flat screen that I can touch. And I can pull up.
I would believe you.
I can pull up everything.
I would believe you. You know why?
And that in 25 years.
You know why I can believe you? Because I saw it in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah, Excellent Adventure.
iPads. I'd be like, yeah, I saw that.
How is this not?
I'm waiting on flying cars right now. We're all waiting on flying cars.
It's like the Louis C.K. joke about flying, that people complain about flying.
Sure.
They're like, oh God, I had to wait on the tarmac for 45 minutes.
You're in a tube that goes 20,000 feet in the air.
And then he's like, and then what happened? Did you participate in the miracle of human flight?
Right.
You're in a chair in the sky.
Right.
Yeah.
But
we're not incredible.
To wrap this up, I think it's an incredible thing to think about. And of course, everything here, our opinions expressed are just those for entertainment purposes. But although I do believe it. I do believe that I think there's a strong possibility. I got to be real careful now that I'm wrapping this thing up. I think there's a really strong possibility that aliens are here on this planet awaiting the right time to introduce themselves. Now, what their goal is, what their purpose is, I don't know. But I think there's
You
a
know what?
strong
Did you know who else
possibility.
believed that? L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah, he made well
He
Dianetics.
made he made a lot of money off of it, though.
Yeah, he did.
Mm.
Well, I think when his thing, like when Scientology, like kind of like a whole, like you reach this level of understanding that you never really reach, you just keep paying money to try to get there.
Did you see Battlefield Earth?
No.
Yeah, that's what they believe.
Oh, really? Battlefield
Yeah.
Earth is Scientology?
Yeah,
Oh, horseshit. Are you serious?
I'm serious.
I'm gonna go watch it. That's with John
Yeah,
Travolta, right? That
yeah,
makes
it's
a lot
one of the
sense.
worst movies ever made, but yeah,
Really.
it's
Battlefield Earth is what Scientologists believe.
basically
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I'll have to look into that.
aliens were buried in volcanoes trillions of years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't see
Yeah,
the movie, but yeah. Okay. So basically what you're saying is I believe in Scientology.
no, I don't believe it. I'm just saying that's
You're saying
of
that if
people have
you're
believed
saying that
this.
if I'm looking for a religion, Scientology might be the one for me.
I think it may be. I don't think you have enough money to
This
be a
is
Scientologist.
kind of like the world's smallest political quiz, right? This is the world's smallest religious quiz. You
Yeah,
believe that aliens are here on the earth? Yes. Scientology's for you. You'll love it.
I'm a natural skeptic and a natural doubter. I'll believe
You're
anything when
negative.
I'm there.
You're
That's
negative.
not negative.
Yeah,
That's not negative. No, there's an old saying: skeptics are the real optimists.
Wick is the party pooper gang.
Mm-mm.
I'm trying to bring some fun to this. Like, hey, aliens probably exist, and you're just like, nope, it won't happen. And we'll see who wins in the end. But when they come out,
No,
man,
we
don't cry to
probably
me.
won't because we'll be dead.
We probably will be dead. All right.
we'll be way dead,
All right. Well, that's a fun topic.
long
Man.
dead.
That was a fun topic. This is the kind of stuff we do. We just talk about stuff that pops up, and just two Generation Xers bumping our heads against what's going on around us. This was an actual news story. It did come out, and it was everywhere. Look it up for yourself. It's an interesting read.
I want to be a space head.
There are people that dedicate their lives to aliens. I mean, they dedicate their lives to.
There's also people that dedicate their lives to dressing up as Klingons.
Yeah, they do.
Mm.
And they have their own language too. They study the language. I think that's weird.
It's a really, we should spend an episode talking about that
We should find a
because
Klingon.
it's
If
kind of
anybody knows
it's a new phenomenon.
If anybody knows somebody that is into this, look us
Cosplay.
up because we would love to interview a Klingon fanatic.
Or anything that
Anything at
anybody.
all. We don't
And if you're into any of it,
If you've seen anything tonight, it's that I'll virtually believe anything that anybody tells me.
on the face of no evidence.
Right. I don't need any of it. If it sounds good, it is good. I'm all in.
See, this is why I don't believe in the jury trial system.
Well, it's all listen. This has also got me in trouble in my life because I'll pretty much go anywhere with anyone. I mean, the fact that I wasn't kidnapped in the 80s is amazing because I probably was an easy target. Offer me a bicycle. I mean, where do I need to go?
Just
Are you
run
gonna
over to
give me a
that
ride?
van with that white van with no windows.
Oh, you're going to give me a ride? Okay,
Oh, yeah.
great. Sure. Let me leave a note for my mom. Oh, I don't need to. You're going to bring me back? Great. Let's go. I don't want anybody else to get the bike. I don't have a problem giving credence to anything that sounds like a fun thing to believe. So I'm all in on this kind of thing. Wick, you're a little bit more grounded. You're like, you know what? I need more proof before I waste my time on something like that. I understand that's probably what everybody else feels too. I just think it's fun. I thought it was a fun topic. I think that's a fun story to think about. And, I think it gives a little bit of, well, is this why the Space Force is being created? So I don't know. I think it's just a fun thing to talk about. But this is what we do. We have fun with it. Wick, I think we need to get out of here. Is there anything you wanted to say before we go?
That's it.
See, he's done. He's so frustrated at this point. He's mad at me. It's like of all the, I'll get a text later of all of the topics You could have thrown at me. You want to throw this crap? I hate you, and I never want to be back again. But it's too bad.
No, Aliens is good stuff.
We'll find out, man. We'll find out because I have a feeling. And you know what? When on an honest, true level, when I was reading the story, I was like, well, we'll never know them because there's no way we're ever going to be ready. There's no way they're ever going to be like, hey, you guys are on, you guys are on point. It's time for us to come out. I just think that they'll be hidden forever because they're going to be like, this is not going to happen. This is not going to happen.
Oh, the big question is, why are they here?
Yeah.
Are they here to bring us love, peace, and tranquility and empathy?
Not. They probably either need slaves on their planet or they need somebody.
They're out of resources.
They need soldiers, probably. They're like, we need dumb people to send out into a space war, and we really, like, I think they probably approached like leaders of this country, of this world, and said, "There's a battle coming. It's bad. The Greys are bringing the hammer. We got to get everybody on board, all hands on deck, and we need you guys, or they're going to destroy your planet."
So basically, winter is coming.
Winter is coming,
but it's aliens.
But it's gray aliens, evil aliens. And hey, we're the white ones. I hate saying that, but that's what the guy wrote. We're the white ones. We're the good ones. You need to follow us into battle. You need to join with us. And we're like, okay, let's build this space force. Let's do this thing. Let's do it. Let's go to war.
Good versus
and
evil.
really what they're going to do is they're going to stick us on the front lines to die. We'll be the ones that they sacrifice for themselves.
Yeah, for whatever.
Yeah, they'll let us be the kamikazes.
The galactic enemy.
They'll trick us with this great technology, these spaceships. Like, man, this new energy source is going to change electricity. It's going to blow Wick's mind because it's way better than the electricity you guys are using. Listen, it's 250 years ago you did this. It's ridiculous. You should be updated by now. We're going to update your energy source. It's going to be amazing. Everybody gets steaks. There's no homelessness. Everybody, it's wonderful. You're going to have the best education system. All we need you guys to do is just get ready to go to battle.
So they're socialist?
Get ready to go into battle.
They're socialist aliens.
Yes.
Bernie Sanders. Okay, now I can buy that.
Yeah. Bernie Sanders is an alien. There we go.
That makes sense.
Yeah, everything comes back around full circle. All right. We're getting out of here. Wick, I had a good time, man. Just talking about
that was fun.
Stuff like that. That was fun. Everybody, look, follow some Podbean, Google Podcast, Amazon. We're on Amazon Music now. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify. We're on all that stuff. So follow us. Have a good time, man. Leave comments. Hopefully, leave us good reviews or whatever. It helps a lot. We have a lot of fun, and sometimes we're going to be serious and sometimes we're going to be silly. This was just kind of a silly one, but we'll see you guys next week with something fun. Wick, say goodbye to the nice people.
Goodbye, nice people.
Everybody, I hope you have a wonderful week. We'll see you next Sunday. Goodbye.